What is going on, family? Welcome to the channel. Hope you are doing well. Hope you are having a fantastic time wherever you are, whatever you hold, and whatever you are doing. What's going on, Steve? This is unscheduled live because I just feel like I've been spitting out some valuable content. Big up, yo, Cave. Let me know if you're available. By the way. Would love to get your thoughts. Big up Caveman. Big up my brother Recon. Hope you're doing very well. Hope you're all doing very well. I'm very happy today because a very close friend of mine, his son had a birthday party. We enjoyed it. Me and my daughter, amazing times. Happy birthday to my nephew. And my brother said, apologies, but I do love. As you know, I am a SUI maxi. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not a maxi of others, but hey, look, SUI has done very well for us. Let's just admit the fact that we've had, we're about to do a 10x in a very short time. And in addition to that, SUI ecosystem will continue to print for us forever. So this is a special homage to a layer one that will be making people very, very well off. So, yeah, as my brother said, big up Alpha Cry. Sure. And then Savage said, soul. Oh, this is wonderful, man. But guys, anyway, I thought I'd come here and do a quick one because it's going to be a very, very important week ahead of us. US earnings will be dropping throughout the whole week. But again, in homage to SUI, this is the absolute insanity that is this blockchain. And everybody, those of you who saw it with me, smash a like, because you can see here for the first time ever, daily stablecoin transfer volume, SUI has actually got more than Ethereum-based Tron and Solana. Okay, and that's very, very important, and it is actually something to consider. Anyway, these markets, the markets go up, the markets go down, but once you find a chain that you can absolutely farm, then definitely the ecosystem is there for you all to take advantage of. I still do believe that the SUI ecosystem still has way more to go in terms of meme coins, in terms of AI projects, deepin, you name it. It is fast enough to obviously deliver some amazing, amazing results for us. So keep your eyes and ears, just like we look at base. Now, interestingly, as part of my title, the Federal Reserve blackout periods, and of course, these absolutely mean nothing, but it is interesting at this particular moment that is going to happen next week as well. So it's something worthwhile looking at. There is a lot of activity with the Fed right now, and this article really does explain what could possibly happen. Of course, as I brought you the other day, today, yesterday, the day before, in my daily updates, Bitcoin is still in a very good, kind of a chill zone, if you know what I mean. Like, Bitcoin is not, I repeat, has not over the weekend capitulated as we expected. So for that reason, I think we could be optimistic next week. Now, leading up to FOMC, again, it could be, there could be a dip. There is definitely a dip in the M2 money supply, and that itself has a little bit of, of course, it follows Bitcoin, or Bitcoin follows it. So this is something to really, really look at. And the way the Fed communicates next week, due to the blackout, people assume that's going to lead to market stability. Now, we do have those earnings for the top tech companies, including the likes of Apple, I believe Google, Meta, you name it. The earnings will be dropping next week. And I did share this graphic with you earlier on, but Friday is probably going to be the most volatile day. Now, I have made some notes about Friday. And Friday's volatility is also going to it's also going to bring the non-farm payrolls. Now, a dramatic weakening of the labor market could trigger the Fed, to pivot. Now, I don't know, for those of you who haven't seen, actually, Banter smashed it with this Benjamin Cohen interview, and there was a lot to take from this, but I'm just going to run this for you again, because I do believe for those of you who've missed this, it's kind of important to kind of go back on.
I think they're still going on with QT at approximately 40 billion a month, plus or minus a few billion. I don't remember the exact number, but it's around 40 billion a month.
Let me know if you guys can hear this audio. If not, I'll keep the show moving.
This is not the first time this cycle that the Fed has announced that they would be slowing down quantitative tightening. And the way I look at quantitative tightening really with crypto is through the lens of altcoins, right? If you look at altcoins on their Bitcoin pairs, which is what this chart is, total 3 minus USDT divided by Bitcoin, the last time the Fed made a similar announcement was May of 2024. So May of 2024, and it was really early May. So right there, the Fed made the same announcement, basically, that they just made a few weeks ago. And both times when they made that announcement, altcoins on their Bitcoin pairs were just below their 21-week EMA, or the 20-week SMA, just below their 20-week SMA or 21-week EMA. They made the same announcement, and just like in May of 2024, right after the announcement, like, people think it means alt season because they're slowing down quantitative tightening, but the problem is that the wind is still blowing in the wrong direction, right? I mean, even though it's slower than it was, it's still blowing in the wrong direction. And as we know, right, the coefficient of static friction is a lot greater than the coefficient of kinetic friction. You cannot, you simply cannot get, in my opinion, a durable alt season during a period where quantitative tightening is continuing, even if it's at a slower pace. So just like back in May of 2024, we saw alt Bitcoin pairs collapse after that announcement. They've done the same thing this time as well. And so in order to really see alt Bitcoin pairs bottom, in order to have a chance at a time when alts will durably outperform Bitcoin, I think you need to see the Fed in quantitative tightening. That's exactly what caused altcoins to really start to show strength last cycle. And my guess is the same thing is going to happen this cycle.
So when would the Fed end quantitative tightening? Like, what in terms of, like, what are the signals? What are the timings that you think the Fed would end quantitative tightening?
If you had asked me a few weeks ago, my answer might have been different, right? As you said, I think as long as nothing breaks, as long as nothing was going to break, I think they could have continued QT, through the entire year, potentially not even ending it until 2026. But given the fact that the markets have dropped 20% in a relatively short period of time, and given the FOMC minutes where, like, the median projection of runoff sort of subsiding is sometimes mid 2025, according to the last FOMC minutes back in February 19th, there's a chance they could end it this summer, right? There's a chance they can end it this summer. I don't know if they're going to do it at the May meeting or not. But, given what I know right now, then I would say potentially this summer. If the markets recover like 1998, if they just recover back to new all-time highs and they don't have to end QT, then it's still possible they could continue it out until 2026. But remember what I always said, right? And maybe we can talk about Ethereum, because what I always said, in order to get a change in monetary policy, you have to have pain, right? You have to see these assets break down, because if they don't break down, there's not really a reason for the Fed to pivot. This is the pain, right? You're seeing Ethereum break down. We saw Ethereum break down, and you're likely going to see a pivot to monetary policy. I don't know if it's going to be May or what, but if you made me guess as to when, I would probably say it's going to be May, June, or July, right? I don't know exactly when, but I would guess May, June, or July.
What about this Bitcoin versus M2 money supply chart? So it's been posted.
So that's actually a couple of things we learned from that. The Fed is close to pivoting, okay, and the fact that nobody knows when. And of course, we've been talking about, no Fed speakers this week here from investing.com. And you can clearly see that Fed enters pre-FOMC meeting Blackout. Like I've shown you, this has happened before and doesn't really mean much. However, this one is much anticipated. And of course, 6th to 7th of May is going to be the policy decision. Now, do we get a week of pump? And do we actually obviously sell the news into that, exactly what the market wants to condition us, right? You know, believe that this is going to be the one that they pivot. But as Benjamin Cohen said, May, June, or July. And what's probably led to that is like he said, you know, the crash of the stock market by 20%. And as a result, now they've got no option but to be able to adjust there or pivot at least and QT and change the markets. Now, we do have the elephant in the room. We must always speak about the elephant in the room, and that's the big man himself. Trump says tariffs, the tariff money will be used to reduce or completely eliminate income taxes with a focus on those who make less than $200,000 a year. And that's probably the vast majority of the population, right? So this man, with all due, let's give this man a credit. This guy's a degen, right? I kid you not, funny story, right? I was telling a close brother of mine, I had a 20x leverage at $7, right? On the Trump token. I took my daughter to bed, and I kid you not, I woke up just on the night of that news, because obviously sometimes you see the way the charts are and you take a punt. Obviously something is undervalued or whatever. And that shit blew to thousands of, a lot of money, right? So this man controls the needle. Make no mistake about it. And if he's saying, obviously, this is, of course, bonanza, he uses the bonanza for America. Could you imagine a situation where something like that comes to fruition, but he does still dictate the temperature of the market? And here's something else I found quite interesting. So this is obviously Scott Bessent. Okay, there was a story 10 days ago that said, let me play this for you.
At some of the things that are being published, there was a story 10 days ago that said, this is the worst April for the stock market since the Great Depression. 10 days later, the NASDAQ is now up on the month of April. And I haven't seen a story that says, oh, stock market has biggest bounce back ever. So
it certainly has gone back and forth.
Right. So the macro is still in the picture, right? And there are many examples of the Trump administration, anyway, at least the insiders, that these people want to have a good economy on the record. Of course, there's the China element, and that is more evident for me in the bonds market. Who's dumping the US bonds? That's also going to be something that is going to be it's going to be quite topical. So, guys, that's a bit of a long one. I'll come back to just big up the guys as well. I can see a few of you have joined now. What's going on, Fuad? Long time, brother. Hope you're well. Christopher said, not a crypto-related question, but have you seen the movie Sinners? It's a great film. Thank you for the recommendation, bro. Look, we're degens, and I can tell you right now, the two things I really enjoyed in my life, having been in a previous profession, I was somebody who was designing home theaters. So that's my professional background, home cinema. And I used to, I can tell you, like, my favorite movies, I love Heat. I don't know if you've ever seen Heat, but what a movie, man. And I remember when it came out, they ran out of tape in the cinema and they had to switch. For you young guys, you don't know what that means, but halfway through the movie, it was like a 2-hour plus. They literally, switched the tape and put the second part of the movie. But I will watch The Sinners. I don't know if you've seen Enemy at the Gates about World War II. Incredible. It has one of the most scariest war scenes of all time, where obviously this dude is sinking a knife into another dude's heart. But an amazing film. Even Saving Private Ryan, man. So do let me know in the comments what your favorite movies are. I used to be a bit of a movie head, and of course my second passion was always Arsenal and watching football. But right now, all of that has gone to SUI, Casper, friggin' Tau, meme coins. My passion for crypto is way more stronger. Like if I get an hour to myself, I can't switch off. I'll start a Netflix series, then I'll switch back to CoinGecko or TradingView or something. But yeah, very good comment, bro. Any good meme coin Savage said on SUI? Well, listen, there was Hippo, there was FUD, the original pub that was the first ever meme coin on SUI. Hasn't been doing as well as Lofi. I do believe Lofi gets to around that $1 billion mark. I think Lofi will end up being the biggest meme coin on the SUI blockchain. And ultimately, there will be new ones that obviously we don't know about yet that will launch and skyrocket. But yeah, SUI is going to print money for us guys regardless. But yeah, check out Lofi. The thing about Lofi is the founder, the lead dev is an excellent guy. And his recent AMA said a lot about what type of person he is. So yeah, this guy, I mean, sorry, let me just put this forward. When you buy a meme coin, you're buying a community, right? And when you buy a community, what you need is a leader with a vision. Now, what Lofi are doing is a lot of charity, okay? This was such a fantastic AMA, in my opinion, that it really should be convincing people. Now, I've been giving this to the community on a $6 million market cap religiously. Guys, buy Lofi, just like we did with Toshi. And it may well be, there could be some interesting revival of Foxy as well, because the linear mainnet is going live. But check this out.
And there are a few big differentiators between your meme coin project and many of the projects out there today. One of them being that you have a doxed public team. Is this correct? Could you tell us about the decision to be doxed?
Yeah, definitely. And you talk about other meme coins out there, and you talk about Lofi, and I wouldn't even consider us a meme coin, honestly. I think that we're more of a brand that's being built on chain. And to do that, right, to build a global brand, you need to have some people that are forward facing, right? Like you and I are having a conversation. When I talk with the SUI co-founders, when I talk with other important people at Miston Labs, when I talk with people that are builders in SUI ecosystem, I want to be able to have kind of a face-to-face conversation or a more personal conversation. And I think that transparency it's a currency of trust. And so being able to dox myself on the project and behind the brand was an important decision. Like you said, you don't see that a lot anymore, but I have myself, my other.
Go and watch that. I will leave the link in the description for you guys, because sometimes it's better to see what a project is doing. Of course, do your own research as always. I'm happy to share these things with you, not because I hold Lofi, but because it is the right thing to do from a Doxed meme coin team that is quite close to the Miston Labs insiders, but they are not officially partners. Now, what tends to happen with these, if they get very close and eventually announce a partnership or some kind of a retweet from SUI, just like we saw with Bonk, it's going to go bonkers. So yeah, check out. I have posted this in the chat, and it will help you kind of decipher the, what it means and why I like it and why it's going to be, of course, a very good meme coin. And even if we get dips, it's going to be one of those that you should have on your radar. Now, considering that if you look at this, sorry, let me just. So yeah, in the past kind of like 30 days, it's kind of weird, but meme coins have actually had the fastest revival. What did we say recently? Meme coins are dead. And that's what you want to bid on. You want to look 14% plus, right? Both against BTC and genuine growth compared to all of the other narratives and everything else in the blockchain. So do not ignore the meme coins. If you have a well laid out portfolio with very good layer ones, a mix of large caps and small caps, of course, medium as well, and there is a space for some, I would say, positive gambling. Okay, I think you still will need to have one or two meme coins in order to be relevant, or your portfolio to be relevant. Now, some people will argue and say we don't do meme coins, and I feel like, you know, in this game full of scammers, taking the moral high ground is a very difficult thing to do. I think everybody should have a portfolio that is broken down in of course, the manner that we share that in the DXB community. Protect yourself all times, and definitely have one or two very good. My strategy has always been identify and go for chain leaders. So Pepe, if you look at Pepe, for example, it moves. It dances with ETH, right? So does, you know, some of the big meme coins like Shiba Inu. You know, some of the heavy ones are locked to ETH. So, you know, when ETH moves, they move. And then you're thinking, okay, Base. Now, Base is traditionally been Brett, but the official, I believe, kind of base coin with utility is Toshi. Now, apart from Toshi, there are tons of others, and you can argue which one to get. But try to identify chain leaders. I think Lofi will be a chain leader very in the near future. Evening Sin, I hope you're well. Wagwan Has, how are you, brother? Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. Can you check Lumia? Of course, brother. Sure thing. I've always seen Lumia, but I've never really looked into it. And I will give you my honest views. 25 million, 18 mil, fully diluted. There is something. Let's have a look. Let's go to the website. I think Casper is also gonna do well. Casper is gonna wake up at some point, and of course do very well. Institutional grade access to RWAs. What is this? Where real assets meet DeFi markets. Now, who backs them? The usual questions come up, of course. And there is an ecosystem as well. I'd probably say, look, something like this requires a bit more, a modular architecture powered by DALC and Erigon that makes node operation accessible with mobile browser. Yeah. Look, something like this is relatively low cap, but you just have to dig a little bit more. But there is plenty of dApps, an ecosystem. There is now, these are available layers. So infrastructure, Avail, cloud infrastructure, Microsoft, compliance, KYC. So they've got Polygon here. So what you probably need to do, bro, is to have a look at these dApps and these ecosystems and just see if these are real utilized ecosystem. Just because I run an AWS server, it doesn't make me an AWS partner. And I think a lot of deep-in projects scam people with that. But this one, I believe they have previously contacted me for, I don't know what they wanted, like marketing or video or something. But it seems to me like, it's not really the worst, but the tokenomics need to be analyzed a bit more through building a real world financial infrastructure. So everybody pivots to RWA with a clear objective to address deep-rooted problems of liquidity, fragmentation, Let's have a look at the exchanges as well. Binance listed, CoinW, LBank, Hotcoin, XT.com, Mexi, Gate.io. So circulating 75 total. Actually, it just needs, it does need further research, but from these kind of statistics, I think this is a good one to watch. Let's have a look at their X page as well. Because what happens with these kind of coin reviews, it really depends on the creator, right? If you don't look into it properly, you may say, oh, it's shit. I don't like it. But doing the research, actually, there are multiple things you've got to check. You've got to check holders. You've got to check wallet sizes. You've got to check exchanges. Now, in many areas, it does have a positive tick. It has access to liquidity of Binance. Wall Street is moving on chain tokenized US securities. So even on their X page, they are pumping a lot of this. So my verdict for me is the tokenomics, right? It's obviously, you got to see the vesting schedule, but it's not the worst I've seen in the world, because still 200 million in total supply, of which at the moment circulating is 75 million. So there is inflation there, but not really the worst token I've reviewed on this channel, that's for sure. So yeah, just do further research on it, and I would honestly look into it myself too. Thanks for sharing that, Richard. Guys, smash a like, please, if you can. That would be amazing. Hey, Ram, what's going on, brother? Hope you are doing well all the way there from India. I hope you're fine. I hope you're safe. There are tensions in the India-Pakistan or the Indian subcontinent. And of course, I hope that gets resolved very quickly, because that is a nuclear flashpoint. Make no mistake about it. India, Pakistan need to come and watch some crypto, and do not nuke the Bitcoin run. But in all seriousness, I hope you are doing very well, brother, and good to see you. And this is my sister in Belta from the great Netherlands. Hoe gaat het? Alles goed? Goed zo. Man, speaking Dutch right now. To all my Dutch family from Amsterdam, Rotterdam, you know what I mean? The Hague. I've been to the Netherlands, and people think Holland is the Netherlands, but no, Holland is a region where Amsterdam is located, but the Netherlands is the country, yeah? Bit of geography, lads. But yeah, good to see you. I hope the family is well, my sister. Big up, Rex here. You think Tau goes to $2,000 this cycle? Very good question. I had high ambitions for Tau. Now, Tau is the Bitcoin of AI. And nobody can deny that, because what tends to happen is we look at the price of a project, and we sometimes forget at some stage something with a halving and is the leader of its particular category. How high could it go? Now, if you think of last cycle, some basic coins like Illuvium was $2,000. Now, you may argue and say, of course, that was a massive gaming run. Illuvium was a lower market cap. Illuvium's also like 7.5 million tokens, which is still quite tempting, to be honest. I looked into Illuvium today. It's at $15. Not that it's going to make a comeback. But to your point, do I think it could hit $2,000? And the answer is yes. All right. So in order to do that, I mean, a 10x on this market cap would be 30 billion, right? Now, I think Tau is one of these tokens that everyone next cycle is going to wake up to. So in my community, I have already highlighted what we're coming back for the bear market, right? So the answer to that is yes. And I've also been speculating in the Tau ecosystem with sturdy finance. So we can actually also make crazy multipliers from the SUI, base, even the Tau ecosystem. Okay. But Tau is a must-have. If you think you've missed it this cycle, it is a must-have coin if you have any respect for your portfolio in the long term. And make no mistake about it, there's stuff that's happening there. You know, S&P 500 oracles, sports oracles, real estate companies. Bitenso Subnet 10 is super, super interesting. That's steady finance. And why is it interesting? Imagine DeFi AI going totally autonomous, built on Tau. That's some scary shit right there. And just like, you know, several years back, you saw Ethereum, or you might have seen Solana, or, you know, if you've been with us, you might have seen Casper or a SUI. There are generational coins and there are shit coins. Now, generational coins are defined as something you could buy for many, many different years, and the value accumulates over time. So I do believe that this cycle, a 10x even from here, 5 to 10x from here, will not be a problem. And that does take it to $2,000, right? Thanks, Rex. Big up Caveman here. MSF will never put anything the Trump administration has done. Yeah, they don't. I mean, there is that partisan politics in the States. And of course, there will always be that division there. But yeah, big up, bro. Bro, Chelsea fan here. No way. Didier Drogba, bruv. I'm actually, honestly, bro. So big up Mohammed in the building. He's a Chelsea fan, and we called him Kelski, right? Chelsea, obviously, because of Roman's money, got to where they were. But I do believe that the Chelsea team of now compared to the Chelsea team of the past is not really a big problem for us. So yeah, it's been a few years now we've been chilling. But yeah, London is red, bro. Price prediction for SUI, said Code Magic. Now, there's a lot of prices that have been thrown around for SUI. And, you know, there's a channel that did an excellent analysis for the price prediction. However, I tend to be a bit more conservative on the price prediction for this particular asset based on where we got him from. Okay. So my initial kind of feeling was that this goes to anything between kind of, this should be technically a $100 billion asset, but $7.20, we're 10x up. Okay. So if we say anything between 10 to the upper end of 20, right? Or 15 to 20, let's be fair. That could be a way, that could be a good way to get out of this. And even if you look at the Fibonacci extensions, you know, the higher you go, I call it the Himalayas, man. The oxygen is quite thin up there, bro. So what you have to remember is, you could see here, yeah, I'd be comfortably out between, say, probably $7 and to about maybe $14, $15. That would be the maximum that I will do for SUI. Yeah, I like that, Hassan. I like that, bro. Toady, Lofi. You like that? That's a new meme coin, Toady. Lofi and Tardy combined gives you Toady. Lofi, Tardy, and AAA Cat. You know what? Tardy and AAA Cat for the last few weeks been sitting at rock bottom, sub $1 million and $1 million respectively. The movie 99 Homes is a good one. Living through that was also completely devastating, but they also, yeah, bro, it's a great movie. Yeah, no, thanks for that, man. As soon as we start counting some bull market money, we'll definitely switch to the movies, man. SUI Export Multiverse X launched a virtual card. Now, this is promising. That is promising. So Multiverse X, let's have a look at because of course, you know, those of you that know eGold, I thought it was I thought it was a terrible rebrand, because this was Elrond, in my opinion. But this is one of the best kind of like 2021 cycle here. This was a ridiculously good coin. I mean, look at this. This was like, at one point, I think this touched nearly $500. It was $488. So any revival there would be wonderful. Yeah, great classic, bro. R.I.P. Val Kilmer. He died recently, I think last week, if I remember correctly. But yeah, what a movie. You know, Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, that restaurant scene. You know, I saw this when I was young, and the restaurant scene, I never forget, man. I kind of like, it was kind of business negotiation on a criminal level. You do what you do best, the guy said. You know, I'll do what I do best. And you do what you do best. Try to catch bad guys like me. That was ridiculously good. If anyone hasn't seen if anyone hasn't seen that movie, please check it out. It's a great movie. Absolute classic. Patu, good evening to you too, brother. Hope you're well. Yeah, Heat is mad. Heat is absolutely mad. As it said, you still holding Alpha and Tectum. I don't see you talking about it. I don't think you've seen my videos. You know, have you seen my video today where I talked about the Tectum chart, the AI Tech chart, the Alpha chart, the Lithium AGI chart, you name it, every shit project that is struggling chart. And yeah, good question about the price targets. Absolutely, I don't hold them to those price targets anymore. And why is that the case? Well, they need to recover. Obviously, there are more important prices to hit. And I'll show you why I spoke about them. Please have a look at my previous video today, bro, because it'll help you if you are holding any of these. So just to give you an example, all right, this is the price of AGI. Right? It's kind of like, I'll show it to you in the daily. So if you look at this, right? So if you see what AGI is doing, right? You could see it's gone into a massive down, this downtrend, right? We can clearly see that this has been very, very long, ongoing, boom. Then what it decided to do was to actually go sideways. So it did something like this. And a lot of those low cap altcoins, which is a good sign, right? They're not dead. So what they've done is they've obviously formed a channel, and you can clearly see. Now, the scenario could be that, of course, you know, this comes back now, test here, and then it breaks up to the upside. But these are kind of the levels where you need to then start paying attention. Now, of course, not over 20 cents, but, you know, way lower than that. You need to be able to have some kind of a range that you come back into. And I can show you, like, many altcoins are like this. This is Manta Network. And do you see the same pattern? The first thing they must do is to break the horrible downtrend. All right. And then the second thing they do is to form a recovery sideways channel. And you can actually repeat this with many altcoins. Look at the exception here is AI Tech, because if you look at AI Tech here, what it did is instead of going sideways, and it's beginning to lag and form a sideways channel. What do I mean by that? Check this out. There's your channel of destruction right there. Okay. So boom, 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 boom. So what it did is, if we actually include, if we say this is how it's been moving, but if you look over here, you start to see a different pattern. Now, it's not as dramatic as the others because this was actually down quite a bit. But I can clearly see that, where's my tool? From here, you've got this thing forming, okay? You've got a channel here. And again, the pattern is very, very clear. You come up here, you reject, you attempt. Now the question is, will it break above this, okay, to get into a range where there's, where there's previous history, right? Support and resistance. So you just have to kind of identify that. But once they move sideways, then you've got every chance of kind of coming out of this. And again, these are all smaller micro cap cryptocurrencies. Now, if you compare that to the giants that are moving, this is Tau, right? This is Tau. And what Tau did, especially, is even more profound on the weekly. But for me to kind of confirm any continuation of this, it's going to settle down above $250. So it's got to come here into this green box. This is a good continuation. And I think they will do that. But if you check almost all of the altcoins, look at Alpha here, right? It's the same thing. Almost, you could almost say that these all are copying each other. You don't even need a chart for these, right? What do we have? A horrendous down channel here, right? Let's just squeeze this in. You could see there, pretty much. And then what does the price do? The price then tends to find a bit of sideways momentum. Let's just draw a green box for it here. And then ultimately, it may break down a bit, but it will stay within that range for a little while. Liquidity comes in, and then boom, these things tend to move. So I personally, it's not that I'm not covering them. I do mention them in every video, but a lot of people are losing hope. And I can sit here all night and show you chart after chart of what's going on. This is cubic. I do recognize the same pattern here. Sideways over here. Now it's obviously gone above this level, and it's tested it a couple of times. It has moved back to test the level, and then it continues. Now, for some of them, is way more horrible than you think. Like, for example, this is the chart for based AI, right? From the top there of $10. Boom. That thing was on a absolutely monumental crash here. Now, what is it trying to do? What is it attempting to do from here, right? Same thing. It then just kind of like within a range, it's trying to go boom, 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 whatever it's trying to do from there to try and break out this, come out of this into a respectable level. Now, this will not have any interest until it clears both the resistance here. You could see the price is below this point, and of course, then move above this orange box. If I just make it a little bit bigger for you, because this is a previous area of support, and there's a lot of price action there. So we just have to keep it very simple. The technical analysis part of it it's just literally, you just need to use a couple of tools to actually see what's going on, in all honesty. But Tectum, as I spoke about it today, it was one of the worst hit. Let's be fair. Tectum was like one of the worst hit. And in order for Tectum to come back, you're seeing the price well below this level here. Okay. And why do I say that? That's because you can see clearly where the price action and the future resistance going to be. So it's going to really flip this level as support. And look where the price is, down, 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 sideways, but the volume is also key. And I would say, to be honest, there's been a bit of volume coming in, but not enough to kind of lift these micro caps. Okay. Whereas the bigger coins like Casper are easier to chart because you can see, actually, even the smaller ones are also very, very easy to notice. You notice a downtrend. The moment you notice sideways, you take a bit of interest, all right, at the bottom. And maybe you balance your bags or you just kind of leave it alone for it to come back. But Casper has a monumental resistance at this level here. This is Casper's main nemesis right now, around this 10-cent level. And you can see that price action has always been, this whole area is super, super key. 10 cents is where Casper needs to flip in order to go absolutely bananas. All right. But yeah, very good question, brother. Thank you for that. Can AXGT hit $1 billion market cap? Now, it's a good question because it's a very fresh topic in my memory, because I did do a decentralized science or DeSci video this week. AXGT. It's Axon DAO, I believe. Now, what can it hit $1 billion? So it's at $53 million. And let me just share the chart with you. So it's really hard to say. Axon DAO has a lot and lots and lots of KOLs, or key opinion leaders, or marketers, or YouTubers, if you say. And for this to hit $1 billion, you've got to have that NVIDIA attachment, because they've done, DeSci is a growing sector, and DeSci, obviously, like I said, I've looked into it. This would be one of the better coins with coverage. All right, tokenomics are not the worst. Even though, of course, there's inflation there. But one of the reasons why I think the positives are it could be marketed well. The negatives are, if you look at the exchanges for something that has been promoted so much by YouTubers, by a lot of people have actually Axon DAO, DeSci, CC, Brian Armstrong, the research thing that he does. But really what you need is exchanges at this point of the cycle. Now, of course, granted that we've not obviously had the best of lucks with the post-Trump inauguration catastrophe that's happened in the markets. But in order for them to do $1 billion market cap at this point in time, they need to have 2, 3, 4 very good exchanges. So until they do that, it's just going to be a promise. And you know what? I don't even have to say it, bro. Look at the trading volume for a project that is at $53 million market cap. The trading volume on 24 hours is 200,000. That is absolutely shit. And I do like this project. I made a video about this project just this week alone. So that's very, LCX is on LCX and it's on Uniswap. I mean, come on, right? People have to wait for the Ethereum Ethers upgrade, which is going to be quite important when it comes to gas fees. And I have actually made a video about this. But that kind of ties in with this whole Uniswap thing, man. Projects don't really find good liquidity on DEXs. So on the day of the FOMC meeting, Ethereum is going to be scheduled for the Pectra upgrade. Okay. So, Ethereum's Pectra upgrade is scheduled for March. No, it's not. It's May 7th. And of course, this is going to be quite important for ETH with staking, validators, and a few other things, So, I mean, how do the layer twos, if there's, for example, gas fee for reductions, and for me, I think they will focus more on the the staking aspect of it. Okay. But I did do a report where I've kind of identified out of 8 upgrades for Ethereum, there was only one where an upgrade was announced a month before. And at the day of the upgrade and a month out, the price was positive for ETH 7 out of 8 times. 7 out of 8 times, the price was very positive. So, yeah. So to go back to your question, bro, can it hit 1 billion potentially? Because it is a DeSci, is a leading project in DeSci, but they need exchanges. Pato said this is a good time to buy for gaming season, but it's also a micro cap and nothing much happens. Yeah, so crypto gaming is, I believe, like if you genuinely ask retailers, gaming is understood. And we love gaming, right? Like most of us here, you know, whether you played Super Mario, Super Soccer, or whether you had an Atari or whatever, or Game Boy, or you played Donkey Kong, we get gaming. We want to have, it feels good to have a gaming season, right? Like, you know, something we genuinely love, can all play. Having said that, on-chain gaming has not done very well. But I do still believe it is one hell of an opportunity. Why? Because every single project of in the gaming narrative is at its floor. And the last round we had was back in October 2023. Gaming season just happened with, I think, alt season because of Bitcoin dominance, but we've not had a gaming narrative. And they talked about Godzilla is going to be the trigger, and people got into that. People got burnt. I've noticed as well, you know, almost all of the Binance listings, including Pengu and all of these things, they absolutely melt down. So there's no need to FOMO into the any kind of Binance launches, not listings, launches. But yeah, it's a very good question. It could be a very high risk, high reward kind of place. Now, I've always loved gaming. Like I have to have gaming. I don't care what the market does. I have to have gaming crypto or gaming exposure. Why? Because A, I love gaming, and B, when gaming comes back, I think it just would be like a short window of absolute bonanza. Now, in terms of gaming, of course, there's several different projects, you know, it's a lot of things there, but I do prefer the infrastructures. Like, for example, anchor your portfolio with a layer 1 like Beam, and then you can get the, you know, the OTKs, or I don't know, the Mavias or the Carrots or whatever, as long as you've got an infrastructure play. Okay, I saw the other day Moontropica retrace all the way back to $2. Very good opportunity. You've got Super Champs at $5 million on the base chain. You've got Metacade. You've got Game Arena here. Oh, sorry, Game Arena was something that was. This is one of Superman's best tokens right now. This thing is at $1 million market cap. Superman shilled the shit out of this. Like, you won't believe. This was like, oh, Game Arena. But look at this. You know, this did absolutely, you know, crazy numbers. But look where it is today. It doesn't mean it's bad. Unfortunately, it is the way these things are shilled. I mean, trading volume here is $180,000. Nothing. It's on Mexi. The ticker is Arena. So yeah, granted. Sorry, not Arena. They have a ticker GAU, GAU. But I remember Superman talking about this like this was the best thing since sliced bread. Dump to zero. You know, this got into where did it get up to? March 27, 2024. This was at 18 cents. In terms of market cap, this hit. Let's have a look. Did it hit the golden milestone? No, it went half, you know, so it did $50 million and 18 cents. So people printed like insanity. right? Like 500 million tokens with 336 million tokens in circulation. You never know. These are the opportunities that we seek. And if we, this is also built on Avalanche. Now, I'm not suggesting you buy Gamer Arena, right? I'm not suggesting that you go and get that. It doesn't make sense. But what makes sense is if you find a project in this niche that you believe in and you think that it's going to be, it has a decent volume, go grab it. Go grab it because, again, providing that you fill your obligations to yourself and you're not just gambling at all. But yeah, another one. I mean, look at this. WAS Studios is at 400K. It's up 11% today. But WAS Studio is at $400,000. Look at the trading volume, $3,000. And then you look at the, can't actually even see the market cap here. You go to price, and you can see here, this had done nothing, and then boom, you get 15, 20x in the space of a couple of weeks. Thank you very much. I'll take my money, and I am out. And what they've done, actually, they've kind of improved their platform. They're still working, but unfortunately, it's only on Uniswap. So that 15, 20, 30x on low liquidity is, it's kind of going to be player versus player. They've got a Trump game. There's a Trump game here. It's a nice little studio. I mean, listen, again, this is on the fringes of kind of crypto gaming. This is degen, this is filthy stuff. But I do believe when liquidity comes back into the market, there's a 400K market cap. 10x is $4 million. 20x is $8 million. So yeah, not financial advice, but these things go in cycles. And I just genuinely think that whenever gaming comes back, if you have a cheeky little gaming portfolio along with your cheeky little meme portfolio, holy crap, you do very, very well. Brother said, can you check PVS? Yes, brother, we can. I think we might have a look at the PVS. Let's have a look at PVS. I think we saw this the other day, didn't we? PVS, $5 million, fully diluted, decent chart, and it is on Solana, which is quite a scary chain, but it is at $1 million, $1.7 million volume, $5 million market cap. I can't find, let's have a look. So there isn't really a website, is there? Community, YouTube. But it is on X. So I have no idea what this is, but we're going to take a look. Okay. Paraverse. Yes. Yes, sir. We did look at this the other day. I think Cordell, was it Cordell Lewis who gave this? Let's see if I can, no, maybe it's not the one. It's a new generation web. So look, as far as these risky coins are concerned, if this is the same one that I reviewed last time, it's, the website was very decent. I don't actually know why it's not working right now. They have a fully doxed team. Let me give them a follow. They have a fully doxed team based in Hong Kong, and of course, $5 million fully diluted. So yeah, it's a nice little risky bet. That's all it is. But I do like the fact that their team is doxed. They're based over there, and it's kind of a relatively a little good project with a very good chart. The chart is not the worst pump and dump. In fact, it's actually it's been low here, and it has actually appreciated and consolidated on so yeah, so that's a good one. Low fee to $1, could it happen? There is a remote possibility, but it has actually hit 20 cents. So Lofi has already done 20 cents. Now, it did that with sub $500 million market cap. So you double that and you say give or take, yeah, I think 50 to 80 cents could be, of course, the a potential, right? Because look, previous all-time high, it was exactly 20 cents. And it did that with $11 million of volume. So if you change that to the market cap and you come here, well, yeah, sub 500 million. So market cap was 209 when it achieved that. Could it go to $1 billion? That's more of the target potential in the euphoria stage of the market. And yeah, I think it could do. I wouldn't wait around for those later prices. It's still very, very cheap in my opinion, but you have to have this market cap relative to $1 billion, because many people feel like they missed out on this, and I don't think they have. So yeah, I hope that's your answer. Bro said AO, and of course, Cave is one of the shrewdest brothers in this game. So AO, what is AO? AO is the supercomputer that's ready to take on the likes of ICP. Now, the fact that it's built on top of Arweave, which I absolutely love, and Arweave is undervalued. Guys, Arweave at $6, at $7, Arweave is nothing. It's fully diluted. It should really be at least the same market cap that Filecoin reached. You know, this could be $20 billion, $30 billion project. But AO is a supercomputer and is built on Arweave's permanent storage or perma storage. Okay. So what you can do is you can build, you can use actually the Arweave, you can build on Arweave, and you have companies like, Meta as well, trusted by the best, Meta, Metaplex, Mirror, Instagram. This is absolutely insane. And this thing is sitting around $400 million market cap. So if you look at Arweave and AO, AO is really a bet on Arweave. If you believe that their founder is an absolute genius, he's one of the brightest minds in the blockchain. If you believe Arweave can actually take on and be better in terms of the performance than Filecoin, and if you look at the companies that trust this, you got the likes of Meta there. So Arweave is a serious thing. Now, most people don't actually understand what the permaweb means. It means an internet. It's almost like, it's basically a permanent internet. So you can actually, create this by logging onto your Arweave wallet. You can, again, publish your web page and it will live forever. So that's quite a powerful, very, very powerful tool, and to argue for people to actually buy multi-generational coins. For God's sake, you could buy Arweave at $6 today. Next bear market, Arweave could actually hit potentially anything between 100 to, to maybe $250, maybe $300. Because it was the last time it did all-time high was a couple of years, the height of the last bull market at $90. So why wouldn't you buy an asset that could go to $300? And I think the same is with AO. So when you look at AO, just wanted to give you a context, but it's a $52 million fully diluted. Of course, there is a max supply in the mechanics, but this is something to keep your eyes and ears on, because I think Arweave will grow because it has a real world adoption, and the fact that all the tokens are out. So if you look at the reason why we missed the Dino coins was because of the fact that we never paid attention to the technology. So today Arweave sits at $6.80. Yeah, granted it's at $436 million, but it has a $27 million trading volume, and the circulating supply, total supply, max supply, all of that checks out. What do you think is going to happen to the price? You've got to really think like a whale. So a lot of us are getting anxious and nervous because our small microcaps, we look through the charts, are kind of dropping forever. Then they're forming a sideways channel, and then they're just waiting for global liquidity and the Fed pivot and so many things to get more slush funds into the system, right? Whereas something like this is fully diluted, the whales will rotate out of Bitcoin into one of these large caps, and you've got to then have some of these good large caps in your portfolio because they buy the narrative, they buy the founder, they buy the exchanges. You know, this is on Binance, maybe it's on Kraken now as well. So yeah, very, very good. I think AO is going to ride the Arweave absolute craze, bro. Yeah, bro. It's what a legend. Thoughts on based AI? I've spoken about it, bro. Still have high hopes. Big risk, yes. High hopes. Look, like I said, a lot of these altcoins that we sweat about, they will recover as long as the team is shipping. My criticism of the based AI team, at times I think Pepe Coin is the better investment because Pepe Coin is clearly something that it's a cultural meme, first of all. The thing about the based AI team is their marketing, and with the millions that they've probably made on the chain already, they need to pay for marketing, man. You know, but provided that anyway, they're not out of the overall picture of all coins being wrecked, right? So you got to be fair to them, but you got to be critical that they are one of the worst marketers in the space. Once they get that right, they'll do really well. In Belter, DEAI moved astronomically the other day. Yeah, I think it was over 11 cents. And that is some path to redemption because everybody thought it was dead. So you could see redemption meaning that there's a long way to go. I mean, I won't even look at the market cap. I'll just look at the price. But the other day, it went off the bottom, which was around, I think it was at 4 cents, 4 cents, something ridiculous anyway, to well over 10 cents. Now, when coins tend to do that and show a bit of life here, because look at this, you know, it came out, bottomed here, and then went on an astronomical ride. And then it's been kind of like what, almost, you know, from the top here in December to where we went, I'm just so happy that it actually climbed over 10 cents. So $10 million, you know, valuation at the moment. I'm not sure what they ship in now. Let's take a look at their X page. My problem, just like with many of these altcoins, is whenever there's a bit of a challenge, bit of a FUD, and of course, the team is obviously, you know, Ignition AI Accelerator. I've seen that before. That came in just before the all-time high, by the way. So I don't mind. Look, projects can go down, no problem. But the marketing is unacceptable for me, for projects, not to have at least their Twitter page updated every day. And so far, you know, credit to these guys. They have updated a lot, you know, 24th of April, 22nd of April, 15th. I do still feel like there's gaps, right? But you got to constantly ship in, you know, look at AI tech. Everybody complains about AI tech not doing well or whatever, but the marketing is ferocious. They've branched out to base. Of course, they're going to do well. But let's see, you know, I hope nothing but the best for this project, because of course our community is in it and we want to see this project do well. Yen Finance, huge DeFi play. Wow, I have looked at Yen Finance. I mean, Rex, it was, yeah, you couldn't get away from Yen Finance in the last cycle, if you remember. The price of theirs at one stage, right, was higher than Bitcoin. I kid you not. OGs remember this. Yeah. This thing was at $80,000. $80,000. I hate when it does this. But that was the previous all-time high. Now, $200 million in market cap, $6,000. But you know what? There are only 36,666 yen finance tokens. And unfortunately, I ain't gonna pay. Just psychologically speaking, man, it's not the way. But I get what you mean. I get what you mean, bro. My brother, off topic for the moment, but what's your favorite shisha flavor? Jeez. All right, let me. You know what? Big up my brother Alpha Cry there. Big respect. Let me show you what my favorite shisha flavor is. Let's go with Coca-Cola, bruv. Oh my days. It's got to be the best ever question that I've ever had. I do have a demonstration of my. By the way, this is not health advice, but there you go, bro. I appreciate you asking me. Yeah, that would be the way to go. And and the other way, I mean, you know, honestly, most of it, when I tend to have that, I always come back, man, with rather a sore head, something like this. I'm not even gonna attempt this. This is too funny, man. Guys, smash a like, by the way. This is, you know. Oh my days. At least mans are not using Tyrone. But anyway, guys, I have lots more question here. I absolutely, I want to big up Superman was on undercover scam. Yes. Yeah, blood. Absolutely, bro. Zilla in the building. Anyway, lots of love, guys. Look, it's been an amazing 1 hour, 13 minutes. And please smash the like. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. Bro said, do we provide future trades calls and in your paid group? Not necessarily future paid calls, but they might as well be better than future paid calls because we have killed it with Fartcoin. We have amazing technical analysts in our group. We have Pete and the rest of the guys. Yeah, it's just $9 a month, man. We don't need to make those calls. However, we do of course take signals and trade for ourselves, for everyone to maximize on our gains, bro. Good question. You're most welcome, my sister. My little one's saying hello, hi. She probably likes my Dutch. Anyway, guys, absolutely. I haven't seen Zilla for a while, man. I need to connect with my brother again. Anyway, guys, in Belta, Zilla, Alpha Cry, love you guys, man. This is absolutely been a smashing one. And I'll definitely catch you. We'll do another one this week. We do have, like I said, a massive week of earnings. Just to wrap up the live stream, we're never going to take tariffs off the eyes because our boy Trump is going to do what he has to do. And like I said, we do have a massive week of earnings. But I do believe this Fed being quiet a little bit, there could be something that is brewing. Typically, stable coins are on the increase, guys. With the stablecoin bill they are just the beginning of tokenization and crypto adoption for the long term. I genuinely believe our industry is going to change once we start to find a new, what do you call, the bill comes out and things are more clear from a regulation standpoint. So all bullish news ahead. And next week, standout ones here on Monday, you got the likes of got Pizza Hut here and Domino's and who knows. You've got Visa on Tuesday, Coca-Cola, Microsoft, and a few others on Wednesday. And then the big day, of course, Amazon, Apple report their earnings on Thursday. And then, of course, Friday, we have energy and a few other different things. But all eyes on the on Bitcoin right now. Bitcoin is sitting and chilling at $94,000, and it is printing a huge green candle there on the 4 hourly. Right? Could we be attempting to take this overnight? Potentially, but so far the indications are Bitcoin has actually survived this weekend. So, yeah, I guess Bitcoin is surviving R. Kelly. And on that note, guys, God bless you all. And I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.